I still remember the exact moment the room turned on me. Not loudly, not dramatically. Just a quiet shift in the air, like when people decide who you are before you've said enough to stop them. It happened in the lobby of the Ashford Crown Hotel, a place built to impress people who already expect to be impressed. Polished stone floors, glass walls that caught the afternoon light just right, staff trained to smile without showing teeth. The kind of place where confidence is assumed, not earned. I had arrived without fanfare. No cameras, no entourage. Just me, a tailored jacket that didn't scream money, and a calm that usually makes people uncomfortable when they don't know where it comes from. The general manager, I'll call him Richard, stepped forward, hand outstretched, smile already rehearsed. "Welcome to the Ashford Crown, sir," he said. "We're honored to have you." I shook his hand, nodded once, and answered him in Mandarin, not to show off, not to trap him. Just because it's my first language when I think clearly. His smile froze. It wasn't subtle. It was the kind of freeze you only get when someone realizes they've prepared for the wrong exam. His eyes flicked sideways, then down, then back up again, searching for something, an assistant, a lifeline, a way out. I waited. Behind him, executives shifted their weight. Someone cleared their throat. Somewhere near the desk, I heard the faint click of a phone unlocking. Richard laughed lightly, the way people do when they're already sweating. "Well, that's impressive," he said, pulling his phone from his pocket. "Technology makes everything easier these days." He tapped, spoke into the screen, held it up like a shield. The translation that came back was painful. Wrong words, wrong tone, wrong meaning entirely. One of my associates raised an eyebrow. Another stared at the ceiling, already bored. I didn't correct him. I didn't rush him. I just watched. Because moments like this tell you everything you need to know about how a place really works. Richard finally lowered the phone and said quietly, "I'm afraid none of our staff are fluent in Mandarin, but we're fully prepared for international clients." That sentence hung there heavy and unconvincing. That's when I noticed her. She was pushing a housekeeping cart along the edge of the lobby, moving the way invisible people learn to move efficiently, silently, never in the way. Gray uniform, hair pulled back, no makeup, no jewelry. Someone you're trained not to see. Our eyes met for half a second. No panic, no curiosity, no deference, just awareness. And something else restraint. The meeting upstairs didn't improve. I asked questions, not aggressive ones, reasonable ones, about zoning changes, foreign investment structures, long-term integration with regional markets. Each answer came back, filtered, softened, translated twice and diluted both times. Richard kept glancing at his phone, at his team, at the clock. At one point, he suggested we circle back later and focus on the broader vision. That's corporate language for "I'm out of my depth and hoping you don't notice." I noticed. What struck me wasn't the lack of preparation. That happens. It was how everyone in that room was scrambling outward, calling vendors, searching apps, looking anywhere except inside their own building for answers. Except her. I could hear her outside the conference room, the soft roll of wheels, the faint rhythm of cleaning, and I knew without knowing why that she understood every word I was saying. The test wasn't about language anymore. It was about perception. When Richard finally asked for a short break, he stepped into the hallway and hissed into his phone. "I don't care who you find, just get me someone who speaks Mandarin." That's when she stopped. She stood there for a moment still as stone. Then she stepped forward. "Excuse me," she said. Richard turned, already irritated. Not now. She didn't look at him. She looked at me. And she spoke in Mandarin so precise, so controlled, so academically clean, that the room went dead silent. "Sir, I couldn't help overhearing your concerns regarding the new municipal investment framework. If it would be helpful, I can clarify. I've sat across from heads of state. I've watched markets crash in real time. I've seen men worth billions lose their composure over numbers on a screen. Nothing compares to watching power realize it's been blind." Richard stared at her like she'd broken the laws of physics. I answered her, deliberately switching dialect, raising the complexity, removing any doubt. She followed effortlessly, cited specifics, compared regions, explained nuance. No hesitation, no apology, just competence. The room recalibrated. I didn't smile. I didn't need to. I turned to Richard and asked calmly, "Why is someone like her invisible in your organization?" He opened his mouth, closed it, tried again. She works in housekeeping." "Yes," I said, "I can see that." Silence. The kind that exposes everything. I asked her to sit, not as a translator, as a participant. Richard tried to frame it as temporary. I ignored him. For the next 40 minutes, she didn't just translate, she bridged. Cultures, expectations, assumptions. She understood what my team was asking before we finished asking it. At one point, I asked her directly how someone with her background ended up cleaning rooms. She answered without bitterness. Life got practical before it got fair. That told me more about her than any resume ever could. When the meeting ended, I approved the investment. Not because the hotel was perfect, it wasn't, but because the truth had finally surfaced. Before I left, I handed her my card. Not the public one, the private one. Use it if you want, I said, or don't, but don't stay invisible for anyone who benefits from it. A month later, I heard she'd been promoted. Not quietly. Publicly. Good. As for Richard, he kept his job. Barely. Because humiliation isn't justice. Awareness is. I didn't walk into that hotel to test their technology or their polish or their pitch deck. I walked in to see how they treat people they think don't matter. Because if intelligence can exist anywhere behind any uniform, any title, any assumption, then the real question isn't who failed that day. It's how many people like her are still being ignored right now. So let me ask you, do you think power changes people? Or does it just expose who they were already willing not to see?